The Galactic Council's chamber was unlike anything imagined by Earth's populace. Suspended in the vast void of space, the structure was an architectural marvel, constructed of transparent ultralight materials that offered a panoramic view of the cosmos. The arena itself, built to accommodate representatives from over 1,000 species, buzzed with the low hum of interstellar discourse, a cacophony of languages, thoughts, and emotions translated in real time by the neural interfaces worn by all attendees. On this day, Earth stood accused. The central stage was a stark, barren platform where Earth's representatives, Ambassador Thomas Locke and his advisor, Dr. Sylvia Marne, were encircled by a multitude of holographic displays. These projections flickered with damning evidence of Earth's alleged transgressions, unauthorized colonization of restricted zones, exploitation of shared resources, and breaches of several interstellar peace treaties. The charges were severe, the evidence seemingly irrefutable. Above the floor, the presiding officer, a being from a species known for their strict adherence to galactic law, articulated the verdict with a voice that resonated through every molecule of the chamber. For its crimes, Earth will face severe sanctions. All territorial claims outside its solar system are hereby revoked. Earth's interstellar trade rights are suspended, and it will pay reparations to the affected civilizations. The decision was met with a mixture of cheers and jeers from the assembly, reflecting the divided opinion about humanity's role in the galaxy. But more than anything, it was a public display of Earth's reduced stature among the stars, a spectacle designed to humiliate and chasten. Ambassador Locke tried to protest, to argue that the evidence had been manipulated, that Earth was being scapegoated for the larger failures of galactic policy. But his mic was cut off, his words lost in the void, leaving only his image, broadcast across countless planets, standing silently in defeat. As the session adjourned, the holograms faded and the crowd dispersed. Locke and Marne were left to ponder the grim reality of their situation. They knew the implications of this verdict would be far-reaching, affecting every human on Earth and their colonies. But unbeknownst to the Council, this act of public shaming would not cow humanity into submission. Instead, it would serve as the catalyst for a war that would reshape the galaxy's power structure. Back on Earth, news of the Galactic Council's humiliating verdict spread with the swiftness of a solar flare. The media aired continuous footage of Ambassador Locke's silenced protest, which now symbolized Earth's disgrace and the Council's overpowering dominance. In every city, town, and settlement across the planet and its off-world colonies, the populace reacted with a mixture of outrage, fear, and a growing thirst for retribution. In the heart of Earth's Defense Command, an emergency session was convened. Leaders from various nations and colonies, military officials, and strategic advisors gathered under the directive of General Marcus Vale, a seasoned military leader known for his decisive actions during previous border conflicts. His presence commanded respect, and as he took the podium, a hushed anticipation settled over the room. Ladies and gentlemen, the Council seeks not only to penalize us for alleged crimes, but to subjugate us beneath the weight of their authority, General Vale began, his voice firm and compelling. This is not merely a sanction, it is a challenge to our sovereignty, our dignity as a species. We must respond, not with words, but with action. The room erupted in murmurs of agreement and determination. Vale continued, outlining the plan for a massive recruitment drive and the construction of a fleet capable of facing the Council's forces. We need every able man and woman. This will be a volunteer force, the soul of Earth fighting for our collective future. We will train you, arm you, and lead you to claim not just reparation, but respect. The call to arms was broadcast worldwide, becoming the catalyst for an unprecedented wave of patriotism and volunteerism. Images of young pilots, engineers, scientists, and soldiers signing up filled the media. Training camps sprouted like wildfire, turning raw recruits into determined warriors. The message was clear. Earth would not cower, it would fight. Among the volunteers was Captain Jonas Ryle, a former commercial pilot whose skills would soon prove invaluable. Like many others, Jonas felt a deep pull to defend his home. "It's about protecting what we value," he said in a widely viewed interview. It's about showing the galaxy that Earth isn't just a player, we're a force. As Earth's shipyards and hidden bases began the feverish construction of a fleet, a sense of unity and purpose enveloped the planet. Old rivalries were set aside as the common goal of defending humanity's place in the cosmos took precedence. Under the surface, however, the military strategists, including General Vale and his newly formed War Council, planned the initial phase of what they called Operation Starblade, a covert operation that would test the mettle and ingenuity of Earth's newly minted Space Force. Under the dim light of Jupiter's moons, hidden from prying eyes by advanced cloaking technologies, Earth's response to its galactic humiliation rapidly took form. The military bases scattered across the moons of the gas giant became the birthplaces of a new kind of warfare. Here, humanity's top engineers, scientists, and tacticians gathered, driven by a shared purpose and fueled by the urgency of their mission. General Marcus Vale, overseeing the operation from a command center burrowed beneath Europa's icy crust, watched with a critical eye as the first of the stealth ships rolled out of the assembly line. These ships, engineered with technology that could bend light and radar, were Earth's bet on turning the tide of war through surprise and innovation. "Make them fast! Make them silent!" Vale instructed his team. The ships were smaller than the typical vessels in the Council's fleet, designed not for frontal assaults, but for hit-and-run tactics and espionage. Each ship was equipped with the latest in stealth technology, electromagnetic pulse, EMP weapons, and energy shields, an amalgamation of Earth's best defense capabilities. Captain Jonas Ryle, now appointed as the commander of the stealth squadron, worked closely with engineers to fine-tune the ships. His experience as a pilot was invaluable in making the ships more intuitive and responsive. "These need to feel like an extension of the pilot," he often said, pushing for controls that could be easily manipulated in the heat of battle. Simultaneously, a rigorous training program was established. Pilots and crew underwent intensive simulations that mimicked various combat scenarios, from asteroid fields to electromagnetic storms. The program was not just about handling the ships, but also about thinking like a guerrilla force, striking where least expected, and using the element of surprise as their primary weapon. As the fleet grew, so did Earth's network of alliances. Diplomats worked tirelessly, reaching out to other civilizations that had grievances against the Galactic Council. These diplomatic missions were fraught with risks, but necessary to build a coalition strong enough to challenge the Council's dominance. Back on Earth, the public support for the operation surged. Propaganda posters depicting sleek, shadowy ships with slogans like, "Silence will be our sword," and "Invisible to all but victory," adorned city walls, stirring the hearts of Earth's citizens. Families gathered to watch launches of new ships which, thanks to their cloaking devices, disappeared into the starry sky as if melting into myths. In this atmosphere charged with determination and hope, Earth's fleet, known unofficially among the troops as the Ghost Armada, became not just a military asset, but a symbol of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. With each successful test and each new ship that joined the ranks, Earth moved one step closer to launching Operation Starblade, their audacious first strike against the Galactic Council's forces. The strategic planning room aboard the flagship of Earth's stealth fleet, the Silent Vanguard, was filled with a palpable tension as the first mission of Operation Starblade was set into motion. Captain Jonas Ryle stood before a holographic map of the galaxy, pinpointing their target, a small, lightly defended communication relay station near Proxima Centauri. The station, crucial for the Galactic Council's interstellar communications network, was an ideal target for a first strike. "Remember, we strike fast and hard. Disable the station and get out before they can scramble any defenses," Captain Ryle briefed his squadron. His voice was calm, but the gravity of the situation wasn't lost on anyone in the room. This was not just a military operation, it was Earth's first defiant answer to the Council's humiliation. As the fleet approached Proxima Centauri, the ships engaged their cloaking devices, slipping through space like ghosts. The station appeared on the main screen, a lone structure floating against the backdrop of a distant sun. It was more vulnerable than they had hoped, guarded by only a handful of patrol ships that were no match for Earth's new technology. In a choreographed maneuver, the fleet decloaked just kilometers away from the station. Before the station's sensors could even detect their presence, they unleashed a barrage of EMP missiles. The station's shields flickered and died as the missiles disrupted all electronic operations. Simultaneously, two smaller squads of ships launched from the silent vanguard, their mission to engage the patrol ships and prevent any distress signals from being sent out. The skirmish was brief and one-sided. The patrol ships, caught off guard and unable to lock on to their stealthy adversaries, were quickly disabled. With the communication station incapacitated and the patrol ships adrift, Captain Reel ordered a quick retrieval of data from the station's core. "Grab everything you can, plans, fleet movements, anything that can give us an edge," he instructed the team. Minutes later, the operation was complete. The fleet recloaked and retreated, leaving behind a disabled station and a clear message to the Council. Earth was not to be underestimated. The return journey was tense until they were safely hidden under the cloak of Jupiter's moons. Once they were confirmed clear of any pursuit, the crew allowed themselves a brief, subdued celebration. They had achieved more than a military victory. They had struck a blow against the Galactic Council that would ripple through the galaxy. Back on Earth, when news of the mission's success reached the public, it ignited a firestorm of support. Broadcasts showed images of the disabled station and played intercepted communications of the Council's confused responses. Earth's morale, long dampened by the Council's oppressive actions, soared. "This is just the beginning," General Vale stated in a widely broadcast interview, his eyes steely with resolve. "We have shown that we can hit them where it hurts. We will continue to do so until we have secured our place in the galaxy, not as subordinates, but as equals." Following the successful raid on the communication relay near Proxima Centauri, Earth's Strategic Command realized the importance of building alliances. The Galactic Council, though momentarily weakened, was vast and powerful. Earth alone could not hope to challenge it effectively without support. Ambassador Thomas Locke, once humiliated before the Council, now took on a crucial role in forging alliances with other disenfranchised species. The Zorquan, a reptilian species known for their fierce combat skills and resilience, had long harbored resentment against the Council for encroachments on their territories. Meanwhile, the Myriad, a collective of symbiotic organisms, had grievances over the Council's exploitation of their natural resources. These species, among others, were contacted covertly, with proposals of mutual support and shared objectives against their common adversary. Negotiations were delicate and fraught with the potential for betrayal. Every meeting required careful planning, often taking place on neutral or hidden bases across the galaxy. Ambassador Locke, alongside his team of diplomats and linguists, worked tirelessly to outline the benefits of a united front against the Council. "Our unity can be the Council's division," Locke pitched during a secret summit on a derelict space station orbiting a dying star. "Together, we can ensure that no one stands alone against such overwhelming odds. We share a common cause for freedom and sovereignty." The Zorquan leader, General Kral, a massive figure armored in battle-scarred regalia, was initially skeptical. "Why should we trust humans? You are new to this game of galaxies," he challenged, his voice a deep rumble. Locke responded earnestly, "Because we, like you, have been wronged. We, too, seek not conquest but the chance to exist without domination. Our recent actions against the Council prove our commitment and capability." Over several tense hours, Locke and his team laid out their strategy, shared intelligence gathered from the raid, and promised technological support. Gradually, the tide of skepticism turned. The Myriad, communicating through a chorus of harmonious voices, finally expressed their accord. "To share a common enemy is to forge a potential path to friendship. We will join your cause." With the Zorquan and Myriad as key allies, more species began to see the value in joining Earth's coalition. A pact was formed, known as the Allied Species Coalition, ASC. Each member pledged military support and shared intelligence, turning what was once a desperate unilateral strike by Earth into a formidable multi-species alliance. As the coalition grew, so did their plans for further coordinated strikes against the Council's assets. The war councils, once filled only with human strategists, now buzzed with diverse beings, each contributing their unique perspectives and capabilities. Back on Earth and across allied territories, the news of this growing alliance sparked waves of optimism. Propaganda broadcasts hailed the new friends in the stars, showcasing joint exercises and shared victories. The message was clear: unity in diversity was the galaxy's new hope against tyranny. However, with this newfound power and expansion of Earth's influence came new challenges. Intelligence reports soon indicated potential threats within, including spies and saboteurs loyal to the Galactic Council. The war was evolving, becoming as much about intrigue and intelligence as about outright combat. As the Allied Species Coalition, ASC, grew in strength and numbers, a sense of cautious optimism permeated the ranks. However, this optimism was soon tempered by a sobering revelation: a breach within Earth's own strategic command. Crucial details about upcoming operations had been leaked, and the evidence pointed to an insider. General Marcus Vale, already wary of the complexities of interspecies alliances, initiated an immediate and thorough investigation. With so much at stake, the breach could not have come at a worse time. The coalition was planning a major offensive against a key Galactic Council supply route, and the success of this operation hinged on complete secrecy. The investigation was led by Colonel Sandra Diaz, a veteran in intelligence operations, who was known for her meticulous attention to detail and her unwavering integrity. Using a combination of traditional forensic techniques and advanced cybernetic tracing, Diaz and her team worked tirelessly to track down the source of the leak. The trail led to Lieutenant Graham Carter, a young and ambitious officer within the Earth Defense Command. Further scrutiny of Carter's communications revealed unauthorized contacts with an unknown entity. Under intense interrogation, Carter cracked, confessing that he had been approached by an envoy from the Council who offered him wealth and a position of power in exchange for information. The betrayal sent shockwaves through Earth's command structure. General Vale addressed the coalition in a broadcast that did not hide the gravity of the situation. Let this serve as a painful reminder that the enemy does not always attack with ships and weapons. We must remain vigilant against threats both external and internal. Despite the setback, the coalition decided to proceed with the planned offensive, albeit with significant alterations to account for the compromised elements. The incident also led to a tightening of security protocols and a re-evaluation of the vetting process for sensitive positions. In the shadow of the betrayal, morale could easily have faltered. However, the leadership of the coalition used this as an opportunity to reinforce the unity and shared purpose of the alliance. General Vale and other leaders conducted a series of meetings across coalition territories, not only to reassure their forces, but also to foster a deeper sense of interdependence and mutual trust. Captain Jonas Reel, speaking to his squadron, summed up the sentiment that permeated the fleet. "We have been tested and we will surely be tested again. But remember, we draw strength not from perfection, but from our ability to face adversity, to learn, and to emerge stronger." Vraxen 4, a planet of vast mineral resources and strategic importance, became the next focal point of the Allied Species Coalition's campaign against the Galactic Council. Capturing Vraxen 4 would not only deprive the Council of critical resources, but also provide the Coalition with a fortified position deep within contested space. General Marcus Vale, aware of the planet's defenses, planned a multifaceted siege that would require precise coordination among the diverse forces of the ASC. The operation began with a series of feints and diversionary attacks on lesser targets, drawing the Council's forces thin across multiple fronts. The main assault on Vraxen 4 was led by Captain Jonas Ryle and included a coalition of human and Zorquan troops. The initial phase involved breaking through the planet's orbital defenses. Stealth ships, now proven in battle, slipped through the Council's sensor nets to disable satellite arrays and create a window for the main fleet to enter the planet's atmosphere. As ships descended through the fiery haze of Vraxen 4's thick atmosphere, ground troops prepared for deployment. The battle for the surface was brutal. The Council had fortified their positions around key resource nodes with both troops and heavy artillery. The landscape, marked by jagged rock formations and steep valleys, made the advance treacherous. The coalition forces, however, were driven by a fierce determination. General Krall of the Zorquan personally led a charge against a fortified ridge, his towering figure inspiring both awe and fear. Under his command, the Zorquan and human troops managed to overrun the position, though at a heavy cost. Meanwhile, Captain Ryle coordinated aerial strikes and provided support to ground operations from the command ship. Using detailed surveillance and real-time data from the front lines, he directed precision strikes that slowly but systematically dismantled the Council's defensive network. The turning point came when the Myriad, leveraging their unique abilities, infiltrated the Council's command network. They spread a disabling bioelectronic virus that sowed chaos among the Council's communication systems, leaving ground forces confused and leaderless. With the Council's defenses faltering, the coalition intensified their assault. Ground troops converged on the main resource processing centers, securing them one by one. After days of continuous fighting, the flag of the Allied Species Coalition was finally hoisted above the planet's capital facility, signaling a hard-fought victory. The siege of Vraxen IV was a testament to the strategic capabilities and unity of the ASC. It also showcased the brutal realities of war, with both sides suffering significant casualties. In the aftermath, General Vale ordered the construction of defense installations and the rehabilitation of the planet's infrastructure, intending to turn Vraxen IV into a beacon of coalition strength and cooperation. After the hard-earned victory at Vraxen IV, the Allied Species Coalition, ASC, needed to capitalize on their momentum. General Marcus Vale knew that winning battles was only part of the war. Gaining strategic intelligence could tilt the entire conflict in their favor. This led to the formulation of Operation Silent Whisper, a covert mission aimed at infiltrating Ulnar, the cultural capital of the Galactic Council, and a hub for their administrative and intelligence operations. Sergeant Max Turner, an expert in alien languages and customs, was selected to lead this critical mission. Turner's unique skills made him an ideal candidate for navigating the complex social landscape of Ulnar, where numerous species mingled and council politics played out in shadowy corners. Disguised as a diplomat from a neutral system, Turner arrived on Ulnar with a small team, each member expertly versed in espionage and counterintelligence. Their objective was to penetrate the Council's inner circles and uncover plans for upcoming military strategies and potential weaknesses in their infrastructure. The vibrant cityscapes of Ulnar were a facade that masked the intrigues and power struggles within. Turner and his team frequented opulent receptions and gatherings, slowly building contacts with key figures who could unwittingly provide the intelligence they needed. Each piece of information was a puzzle piece in the larger picture of the Council's military and political maneuvers. As Turner delved deeper into the workings of the Council, he discovered a planned counterattack that could devastate several of the Coalition's key supply lines. This operation, codenamed Starfall, was set to launch in mere weeks and promised to shift the war back into the Council's favor. Understanding the gravity of this discovery, Turner used his covert communication links to send detailed reports back to General Vale. The intelligence was alarming but invaluable, providing the ASC with a chance to preempt the Council's movements. With the crucial information in hand, Turner's mission shifted from intelligence gathering to ensuring his team's extraction without alerting the Council to their true identities. The streets of Ulnar, usually vibrant and bustling, took on a more sinister tone as Turner felt the gaze of the Council's security forces growing more suspicious. In a daring escape that involved a high-speed chase through Ulnar's aerial traffic lanes, Turner and his team managed to reach a prearranged extraction point where a cloaked ASC ship awaited. The operation was a success, but it had been a close call, too close for comfort. Back at the ASC command center, the data retrieved from Ulnar was analyzed and disseminated. Plans were rapidly adjusted to counter the impending Starfall operation. General Vale, in a meeting with coalition leaders, outlined a series of defensive maneuvers and counterstrikes that would use the Council's own tactics against them. The success of Operation Silent Whisper not only averted potential disaster, but also demonstrated the depths of strategic warfare being waged. Turner's bravery and quick thinking were celebrated across the coalition, boosting morale and reinforcing the belief in the possibility of victory against seemingly insurmountable odds. The war was far from over, but the intelligence from Ulnar had changed its course, proving once again that knowledge was as powerful a weapon as any fleet or army. Armed with the critical intelligence from Ulnar, the Allied Species Coalition, ASC, quickly adapted its strategies to counter the Galactic Council's upcoming Operation Starfall. General Marcus Vale, understanding the importance of striking decisively, organized a preemptive strike that would not only disrupt the Council's plans, but also aim to shift the balance of power in the galaxy. The target was the Council's fleet assembly area in the Nebula of Tarsus, a region where sensor interference from the nebula's gas clouds had always made it a perfect hideout. The ASC's strategy involved a complex, multi-pronged attack, utilizing both the stealth capabilities of Earth's fleet and the brute force of the Zorquan warships. As the fleet approached the nebula, Captain Jonas Ryle, aboard the newly christened stealth ship Phantom Edge, coordinated the positioning of the fleet segments. "Keep tight and silent until we hit the jump point. After that, it's all rapid engagement," he briefed his squadron. Simultaneously, General Kral of the Zorquan led his armada on a more direct path, planning to engage the Council's forces head-on to create a distraction that would allow the stealth ships to infiltrate deeper into the assembly area. The battle began with a fierce onslaught by the Zorquan armada. Their warships, equipped with heavy armor and formidable firepower, tore through the outer defenses of the assembly area, drawing the Council's fleet into open conflict. Amidst the chaos, the Phantom Edge and its sister ships slipped unnoticed deeper into the nebula. Using the intelligence gathered, Captain Reel targeted the Council's flagship and its command vessels. The stealth ships, invisible to the standard sensors, launched a series of precision strikes, crippling the flagship's propulsion and weapon systems. The element of surprise was total, and the effectiveness of the attack was devastating. On the other side of the nebula, the Council's fleet was now caught between the anvil of Kral's relentless assault and the hammer of Ryle's surgical strikes. The Council's forces, disoriented by the unexpected ferocity and coordination of the ASC attacks, faltered. With their flagship disabled and command structure in disarray, the Council's fleet was unable to regroup effectively. Sensing the turn of tide, the ASC pressed their advantage. Coalition forces from the Myriad, using their unique abilities, infiltrated and sabotaged several of the Council's ships, further sowing confusion and hindering their ability to counterattack. The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was evident early on. The Council's planned offensive was not only thwarted, but turned into a catastrophic defeat. The debris of their once formidable fleet drifted through the nebula, a stark testament to the failed operation. In the aftermath of the battle, the galactic community reeled at the news of the Council's defeat. The victory at the Nebula of Tarsus was broadcast across coalition and neutral planets alike, showcasing the effectiveness and might of the ASC. This battle, now known as the Battle of the Nebula, became a turning point in the war. The victory significantly shifted public and political opinion across numerous systems. Many who had once viewed the Galactic Council as an invincible force now saw a glimmer of hope in the coalition led by Earth. Support for the Council waned, while the ASC found new allies eager to join a winning cause. This decisive battle not only marked a strategic victory, but also symbolized a shift in the galactic order. Earth and its allies had demonstrated that unity and strategic planning could challenge even the most powerful forces in the galaxy. The war was far from over, but for the first time, victory seemed within reach. Buoyed by their triumph at the Nebula of Tarsus, the Allied Species Coalition, ASC, pushed forward with renewed vigor, aiming to capitalize on the declining morale and diminished capabilities of the Galactic Council. The strategic sessions, once cautious and defensive, now buzzed with ambitious plans for a daring assault on the heart of the Council's territory, the heavily fortified sector known as the Core Nexus. General Marcus Vale, aware of the symbolic and strategic importance of the Core Nexus, laid out a meticulous plan that combined all elements of the Coalition's military strengths. The Core Nexus was not just a stronghold, but also a cultural and administrative hub, making it a high-value target whose capture would send shockwaves throughout the galaxy. The plan involved a multi-staged approach. First, a series of deceptive maneuvers to draw the Council's remaining forces away from the Nexus. This task was assigned to General Krall and his Zorquan fleet, who relished the opportunity to once again confront their adversaries head-on. Meanwhile, a specialized task force led by Captain Jonas Ryle would spearhead the actual infiltration into the Nexus. This force comprised the best of Earth's stealth units alongside myriad infiltrators and other Coalition specialists, trained for operations in highly secured environments. As the operation commenced, the ASC's deceptive maneuvers succeeded in luring significant portions of the Council's fleet out of the Core Nexus. General Krall's forces engaged these Council ships in a series of hit-and-run attacks, leading them on a chase through multiple star systems and away from the Nexus. With the path cleared, Captain Ryle and his task force approached the Core Nexus. The stealth ships, barely detectable against the cosmic backdrop, slipped past the outer defenses. Once within the Nexus, the task force executed a high-risk landing on one of the central asteroids that housed the Council's command and control center. The battle for the Core Nexus was intense and fraught with danger. Every corridor and chamber was defended fiercely by the Council's elite guards. However, the ASC forces, equipped with advanced gear and driven by a cause they believed in deeply, slowly gained ground. Sergeant Max Turner, utilizing his deep knowledge of Council protocols and language, played a crucial role in navigating the labyrinthine complex and disabling security systems. As the ASC forces converged on the central command hub, a desperate counterattack by the Council's remaining defenders ensued. It was a brutal and chaotic close-quarters fight, but the momentum was with the ASC. The command hub was eventually secured, and the Council's leaders were captured, many surrendering in the face of the overwhelming assault. The fall of the Core Nexus was broadcast live across the galaxy, a dramatic and unequivocal display of the shifting power dynamics. The image of the Coalition flag being raised over the Council's central command was a powerful symbol, heralding the dawn of a new era. In the aftermath of their victory, the ASC began the process of establishing a new order within the Core Nexus. General Vale, in his first address from the captured command center, spoke not of retribution, but of reconciliation and rebuilding. This victory is not the end, but the beginning of a new journey towards a truly unified galactic community, he declared. With the Core Nexus under Allied Species Coalition (ASC) control, the remaining Galactic Council forces, scattered and leaderless, faced a new reality. The symbolic and strategic loss of their central command hub left them demoralized and directionless. Recognizing the shift in power, many of the Council's member species began to negotiate their surrender, or switch allegiances to the ASC, keen on securing a place in the new galactic order. General Marcus Vale, now overseeing the transition from war to peace, prioritized stabilization and integration efforts. He established a temporary governance body, comprising representatives from both the Coalition and willing Council members, tasked with the administration of the newly liberated territories and the maintenance of civil order. The ASC's swift and fair handling of former Council territories was crucial. It was a delicate balance of enforcing new laws, ensuring security, and rebuilding trust among the galaxy's diverse populations. Earth's diplomats, led by Ambassador Thomas Locke, worked tirelessly to broker peace agreements and rebuild diplomatic relations, emphasizing reconciliation and mutual prosperity. Meanwhile, Captain Jonas Ryle was appointed to lead a peacekeeping fleet, patrolling key trade routes and assisting in the disarmament of Council military installations. His role shifted from warrior to guardian, a transition that reflected the broader change sweeping through the galaxy. The dismantling of the Council's military power was a major undertaking. Sergeant Max Turner and other intelligence officers played a significant role in locating hidden arsenals and securing sensitive technologies, ensuring they did not fall into the wrong hands. These efforts were not just about removing threats, but also about harnessing technology for the benefit of all civilizations under the ASC's banner. As the months passed, the remnants of the Council's regime were integrated into the new system. Trials were held for those accused of war crimes, conducted fairly but firmly under the watchful eyes of the galaxy. The trials were not only about justice, but also about setting precedents for accountability and the rule of law in the new era. In a landmark moment, the ASC convened the first session of the Galactic Unity Assembly on the very grounds of the former Council chamber. Now redesigned to represent a more egalitarian and cooperative forum, the Assembly included a much broader spectrum of species and cultures. General Vale, in his opening speech, outlined a vision for a united galaxy where no single species or coalition held dominion over others. "This new assembly stands as a beacon of hope and unity," Vale proclaimed. "Here, we shall forge a path towards a future where conflicts are resolved through dialogue and mutual respect, not through warfare and subjugation." The transition was not without challenges. Residual resistance, economic instability, and cultural clashes posed significant hurdles. However, the ASC's commitment to a fair and inclusive governing approach gradually won over most of their skeptics. The victory over the Galactic Council and the establishment of the Galactic Unity Assembly marked the beginning of a transformative era in the galaxy. General Marcus Vale, once a military leader, now assumed a new role as a peacemaker and statesman. His leadership was pivotal as the galaxy navigated the complex process of reconciliation and rebuilding. The newly formed assembly worked diligently to create policies that fostered economic recovery, political stability, and cultural exchange. One of the first actions was to establish the Galactic Development Fund, aimed at rebuilding war-torn regions and supporting underdeveloped planets. This initiative was not just about physical reconstruction, but also about ensuring equitable development across all sectors of the galaxy. Captain Jonas Rail, who had become a symbol of resilience and tactical genius, led the efforts to secure and stabilize the outer regions. His fleet, once instruments of war, now served as ambassadors of peace, delivering aid and providing security for reconstruction projects. Rail's personal commitment to the cause of peace earned him respect and admiration far beyond the confines of military circles. Sergeant Max Turner, with his deep understanding of alien cultures, was appointed head of the Interstellar Cultural Exchange Program. This program was designed to foster understanding and unity through shared knowledge, arts, and cultural heritage. Turner's efforts helped bridge the divides that had once fueled conflicts, turning former adversaries into partners in reconstruction. The ASC also focused on technological advancement, particularly in the fields of energy and medicine, to promote sustainability and well-being. Technologies once used for warfare were repurposed to benefit civilian populations, with former military engineers leading the charge in innovation. However, the road to a stable peace was not without its obstacles. Residual factions loyal to the old council stirred unrest in some regions, challenging the authority of the new assembly. These threats were met not with overwhelming force, but with a combination of firm policing and extensive dialogue, embodying the assembly's commitment to resolving conflicts through understanding rather than violence. Amidst these challenges, the galaxy celebrated a series of milestones that symbolized the new era of unity. One such event was the Day of Remembrance, commemorating those who had fallen during the war. It was a solemn occasion, marked by ceremonies across countless worlds, where stories of heroism and sacrifice were shared, reminding everyone of the costs of conflict and the value of peace. General Vale, in a historic address during the Day of Remembrance, reflected on the journey the galaxy had undertaken. "We have faced the darkest nights together, and now stand in the dawn of a new era," he said. "Let us move forward with a commitment to guard this peace, cherishing it as our most precious legacy." As the first year of the Galactic Unity Assembly drew to a close, the signs of recovery were palpable. Economies were rebounding, Diplomatic relations were strengthening, and cultural exchanges were flourishing. The galaxy, once divided by fear and ambition, was now united by hope and a collective vision for the future.